Have you ever had that one class where at the beginning of the year you said you're gonna sweat, try hard, be all academic and scholarly, but by the end of the year you just end up bullshitting during class? Yeah, for me that class was biology. The most textbook heavy, diagram filled course one could take. Yeah, that was the class I learned. Hey yo! Marks? More like farts! That class was one of the most dysfunctional, goofy, but hilarious experience I have ever gone through. And it's all my damn friend's fault. Okay, let me just set the scene real quick. I was fortunate enough to get into a specialized STEM program at my high school. I know, weird flex. Sounds good and all, except the fact that in reality, the program was just a multi-level marketing scheme to accumulate individuals with a strong desire to pursue higher education so that the school can receive extra funding from the government. Those freaking clever bastards. Other than the marketing scheme part, the program basically kept all the students within the program together in the same classes for 3 years until you become a senior. But before your senior year, it was basically legalized segregation from the normies. Do you want to know what made the program special? Drumroll please. Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Other than the segregation part, you'd take the exact same courses, you'd have the exact same teachers, but guess what? You'd have the option, it's not even freaking mandatory, of taking STEM courses 1 year early. For example, you could take grade 11 computer science in grade 10, and therefore, you could take grade 12 computer science in grade 11. And in grade 12, you realize that you've been scammed. The admin said that the universities would be drooling at your feet because you'd have more grade 12 courses than the average bum student. Bro, our puny little brains ate that up, bro. We were finessed. Mr. Administration Man, I know you said you guys require a 93% average to get in, and I only got a 72%, but look, I got two extra grade 12 courses in weightlifting and psychology. Oh, and I also did physics in grade 11 instead of 12. Will you please let me in, sir? Boy, if you don't get... I don't know what that voice was. What the fuck? There was also another thing that the program did. In grade 10, instead of doing a grade 10 science, you did biology. Why? If you haven't been keeping track, I don't know why. Why biology? Why not physics? Or, I don't know, astronomy. In fact, why not just follow the damn grade numbers? In grade 10, you do a grade 10 course. 11, you do an 11 course. In grade 12, you do a grade 12 course. Quick math. Most of the people I know, instead of taking an extra grade 12 course, they just took an extra spare. Because by that point, you've realized that you've been swindled. So, it's the beginning of your sophomore year, you've comfortably found some friends, you've adjusted to high school, you've got your timetable, and you're ready to take on the new year. In my mind, I've decided, okay, junior year preps you for senior year, and senior year is when your marks really matter, so I should focus on my studies this year so that I can prep for my prep year, which preps me for my senior year. Trust me, that mindset lasted like 2 months tops. Okay, getting into my actual bio class though, I already knew most of the people, and 3 of my close friends from my friend group were there. Deep Bro, Slim, Barnes, and me, duh. Me and Barnes were more, let's say, academically focused. We would goof off here and there, but we'd usually follow the teacher's instructions, or at least pay some smidgen of attention in class. Then there was Slim. He would be serviceable in class, but typically he'd just do and say the most random and weird shit. This guy could not string together 2 sentences that related to each other at all. It's like his brain was constantly coming up with dumb sentences, and before fully finishing a thought, he blurts out the next one with the old thought banished to the shadow realm. We would be talking about the newly released AOT episode, and he'd just blurt out, "Yeah, I like tall meat-eating people too." What the hell? He was a character to say the least. But in a good way, I swear. Combined, we had the perfect blend of stupidity, smarts, and most importantly, generalized cuckery. But then there was Deep Bro. This guy was comedic relief, but he was also an absolute slacker. If we weren't in his class, he definitely would have failed. And with him added into the mix, it tipped the delicate, perfect balance and turned our group into savages. Unlike Slim, who at least had thoughts running through his brain, Deep Bro's head contained nothing but air. There was this one time where we were running a lab. A lab is basically an activity where we learn using more hands-on stuff instead of just going through a lesson. And in this lab, we would be in pairs, but you would need to hand in your own worksheet. I would pair with Deep Bro, and Barnes and Slim would pair up together because they got that middle school bond. We were studying microscopic structures that day, so we were going to be looking at plant cells. Under the microscope, we were supposed to identify the different parts of the leaf. Cool. I'm looking, I'm identifying, I'm diagramming. And when I finish and get ready to hand in my sheet, Deepro comes up to me. He's like, yo, write my name down. I say, dude, you were supposed to get your own sheet and fill in your own diagram. What have you been doing this past hour? This guy starts panicking. With like 3 minutes left of class, this buffoon has to ask for another sheet, and he has to rush to finish his work like a maniac. He finished with just enough time, though, because he's copying my sheet, obviously. And he lets out a sigh. He's like, thank God I don't have to do that again. And as soon as he said that, our teacher reminded everybody that next class, we're going to have a short quiz on the diagram, so make sure to memorize it. Our teacher allows a mini cheat sheet for quizzes, so all you had to do was make sure to copy the leaf diagram and you're all set for the quiz. Next class comes by, we sit down, I'm getting ready to do the quiz, easy peasy. And then I look at Deepro and tell me why this guy was absolutely mortified, bro. He's scrambling, whispering to us, yo, allow me the sheets, I forgot we had the quiz today. And we instantly shut that shit down like, bro, get your grimy hands off my sheet. My guy, all you had to do was copy the leaf diagram, word for word, bar for bar. It was easy marks. He did not have a good time on his quiz. And that was just the beginning. Progressively throughout the year, me and Barnes, due to our close proximity to Slim and Deepro, we would succumb and become brain-dead goons like them by the end of the year. Okay, now that you've been introduced to the group, get ready to meet my teacher, Mr. Wright. This dude was intense, has no chill, but, big but, he is also really chill at the same time. Coming from middle school to high school, you usually get to experience teachers for who they really are. They're usually more open, and let's say they carry more unique personalities. Because they know they can't get fired even if they say some wild shit. And let me just say, this guy was definitely a character. He could be super dope one moment, cool, cracking jokes, letting the students just chill. And then he'd be destroying your hopes and dreams and making you beg for your mummy. His fuse was so small you'd be in a lecture before you even realize you fucked up. It wasn't the fucked where your grades would be messed up, it was more like the public embarrassment kind of fucked. No hesitation, he would yell at you in front of the entire class and cause a scene. Like this was some playground fight type beat, bro. I'd never forget it. One time when explaining the activity we were gonna do, he specifically said, do not stand up before he finishes speaking. He took the littlest pause to catch his breath, and this guy Deepro stands up right in front of his face. Remember, we're sitting right in front of him. Zero hesitation, our teacher just started screaming like a battle cry. No words, just a loud Bro, one part of me was in disbelief, and the other part of me was trying to not die of laughter. Like, bro, what is going on? He scolds Deepro with a one-liner and then proceeds to explain the rest of the activity like nothing ever happened. Like, everybody was looking at each other like, yo, is this normal? Should we be concerned? Looking back, though, if I was in a situation, I'd be pretty pissed too. Like, how did I specifically say in front of everybody, yo, wait till I finish speaking, just for some dumbass kid to stand up mid-speech? I'd be losing full too, honestly. Looking back, a lot of the shit was pretty well deserved, but he just took it way over the top. Like this other time where Deepro and Slim got kicked out of class for literally the dumbest reason. Okay, so remember, we sat in the front of the class in tables of 4. Barnes was in front of me, Slim was beside me, and Deepro was in front of Slim. I thought that this setup was good enough for Slim and Deepro where, there was enough room and distance between them that they didn't distract each other too much. Boy, I was wrong. It must have been a bad day for Mr. Wright because he was a little on edge. He let it be known to everybody in the class before it started that he had a rough day with his other classes, so, we should try and be a little less annoying. So Mr. Wright was explaining evolution and genetic drift, and these two goons, Deepro and Slim, decided, you know what? Yo, now's the perfect time to start fondling with each other's hands. And Mr. Wright saw that shit like a hawk and immediately started scolding them. At first, it was like a disappointing look, then disgust, and then anger. And then he just straight up told them to stand up and leave. Public humiliation at its finest. Funniest part is Mr. Wright finished the lesson when there was 10 minutes left of class, and then he let them back in. I think he just forgot that they were outside. Heck, I did too. They were out there for a good 45 minutes. Imagine basically missing a class because you were fondling your desk partner's hands. I can imagine them just chilling outside 30 minutes in yo, do you think he forgot about us? How did they not decide, I think we've been out here too long, we need to get back in? And to this day, they still have not told us what the hell they were actually doing with their fingers. What were you doing to get that guy so mad. Like, why was Mr. Wright so disgusted? Deeper and Slim kept saying, oh, yeah, we were just pulling each other's fingers back and forth. But to be honest, I don't even know if that makes it any better. Like, how brain dead do you gotta be to find entertainment from pulling each other's fingers back and forth like literal children? Okay, I can't toast them too hard because me and Barnes would also act pretty brain dead, but in our own way. It was like halfway through the year, and by this point, too much bullshit had already happened in the year for me and Barnes to act serious within the class. We had already started slipping well into incompetence by this point. But both of us were still somewhat academically competitive. It's a STEM specialized program, man. What do you expect? It wasn't a blatant, I did better than you, you smell. It was like a more, ooh, you got a 90%, that's pretty good for a peasant. And then he'd present his 91%, and then I'd be heartbroken. Anyways, there was always that level of competitiveness in the back of our minds, trying to always do better than each other in every aspect. And when I mean that, I mean every aspect. Okay, so we would have a test probably every month and a half, and I don't recall when I noticed it, but this guy Barnes would usually be one of the first people to finish. You know why I started noticing it? It was because this dude would make it his life's mission to let the whole class know that he was done the test. Okay, so I'd be sitting down, just chilling, writing the test in a brisk, but, a well-rounded pace. And then this dude, I'd hear from the corner of my ear, he'd be turning the pages so loudly, oh my god. The whole room would be able to hear that shit. He wanted to let everybody know, yo, I have finished this first page faster than you bums. And then I'd start being like, yo, I can't be slow, I gotta be faster than this dude. So I'd start fucking rushing to get my shit done. Another thing that he would do is he would ask the teacher, hey yo, mister, where do I put my finished test? Like he didn't know already. He just had to make sure that everybody knew in that classroom that he was done first. It was so bad, I started getting PTSD from when this guy would raise his hand. I'd be on the second question of the test and he would raise his hand and I'd start panicking. Nani?
違う。いつも思ってたことじゃないか。世の中腐っている。腐ってるやつは死んだ方がいい。誰かがやらなくてはいけないんだ。自らの精神や命を犠牲にしてでも。
And then Barnes would ask the dumbest question to the teacher, give a look all smug, and then continue writing the test. Woah!
このままじゃいけないんだ。もし他の誰かがこのノートを拾ったとして、この世に不必要な人間を消すことのできるやつがいるか。いるわけがない。
By the end of the year, it got so bad that Barnes wouldn't even care about his marks anymore. He'd just try and complete the test as fast as possible. One time, he completed the test with like 40 minutes left in class, and he was so smug about it, bro. Stood up, went to the front of the class, and slammed his test down. Literally, everybody looked at him like, yo, is this kid serious? As you can imagine, me, like only halfway done, I was a broken man. Only to find out when we got our marks back that this guy basically failed the test trying to outpace me. I enjoyed the momentary victory, yes, I did. But I still cared way more about him finishing the test in 40 minutes, bro. That just shows where my mind was at this point in the year. And I must admit, Barnes would usually get the better of me. And it still hurts me to this day, bro, I swear. I gotta say though, always being paired up with Deeper was a challenge. It was like trying to get a good grade in hard mode. Barnes and Slim auto-locked being partners because, they had that middle school bond. And like I said, at least Slim was serviceable. Deeper was a goddamn liability, bro. He was solo throwing labs. At the end of the year, I had to sit this guy down and tell him, as a friend, yo, you are genuinely such a liability that I can never partner with you again. Not once, not ever. At least not in pairs. It's not you, it's me, my guy. I gotta put me first. Was it at least fun? Yeah, it was. Okay. So you've gotten a glimpse into my class. After countless shenanigans and getting yelled at by the teacher, let's just say we were now petrified of Mr. Wright. We now knew what we would get if we pissed him off. It was a respectful fear though, because, we deep down we knew low-key we kind of deserved it. Keep the fear in mind though. Anyways, he had planned a lab for the week, but he said that he would be absent that day and a supply teacher would be there. He did the typical, a supply teacher is like my second arm and you need to treat them exactly how you treat me, yada yada. But then his tone changes and he said, This is one of the simplest labs I ever could have concocted. I've tried extra hard making this lab idiot-proof. And I swear, if anything goes wrong, if there is one fuck-up, there will be no labs for the rest of the year. Anyways, have a good day, guys. He's bluffing. He's got to be bluffing, right? Okay, with that omen of doom in mind, the day comes for the lab, and what do you know, the old man didn't cap. We had a supply. The supply explains the lab, and sure enough, it was pretty easy. Nothing too crazy. You could finish it with like half the class left. It did require some burning and measuring temperatures, but you'd have to be a complete idiot to mess that up. So this time, the lab was in groups of 5, and so we recruited our boy Duke. Hey guys, I'm Duke. I fucks with these guys, but I cannot associate with them because I have some dignity and because I would fail the class. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Like I mentioned before, Mr. Wright did not lie. The lab was an easy peasy lemon squeezy, and we got it done with like half the class left. The substitute teacher, who had no idea what the hell we were supposed to do, just assumed we were all great students and that we would need no supervision at all. So she just sat there at the front of the desk on her phone just chilling. Now, what would you do when you finish the day's work? Go on your phone, talk to your classmates about the new JoJo Part 5 episodes, sleep? Wrong. Me and Barnes, we're gonna fuck around and play with the damn thermometers. Me and Barnes had this like love-hate roast type relationship, but I guess I took it too far, and he took one of the thermometers and started swinging at me. I couldn't just stand there defenseless. I had to stand my ground. So I took one of the thermometers and I started swinging back. It's not too late to stop this. You can join me again. I thought you were my friend. You know what they say, Taz. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Enough talking! Barnes! Taz! I watched the thermometer break in slow motion, I swear. The thermometer was now on the table, split in two, with mercury spilling all over the table. Deadass, this was literally the worst possible outcome. Me and Barnes were fighting over whose fault it was for the broken thermometer. Slim was sent out to keep watch on the sub so she didn't notice what just occurred. And after me and Barnes got done arguing, it became mission impossible. How to clean up a toxic mess. We're in absolute shambles. I'm not cleaning it up. That shit's poisonous. Barnes, you clean it up. You're the one who broke it. I did not break it. You clean it up. So we stood there for a good 5 minutes just contemplating and arguing what the hell we were gonna do, like Dumb and Dumber. We were all genuinely petrified. We would be the reason the class has no more labs, and with all our other fuck-ups, we would always die of laughter. This time, nobody was laughing, except Duke, but he was more laughing like, yo, I'm in danger. He is probably regretting every single life choice he's made at this point because as soon as he joins our group, we've had a terrible catastrophe. But in every story, there needs to be a hero. And that day, it was going to be Duke. It sure as hell wasn't going to be one of us. He takes the health risk, grabs some gloves and some tissues, wipes the mess, cleans the glass, and disposes of the thermometer. If Duke wasn't there, we would have been cooked. Class ends and we're dismissed. The substitute unaware of any troubles. And that's where you think the story would end, right? Except it doesn't. Literally a month goes by. No mention of the thermometer from anybody. And then... yeah, guys, so I was counting equipment for this next lab, and it seems like we're missing a thermometer. I also noticed in the trash that there was like a broken thermometer in there. Anybody know anything about that? No, sir. Got no idea what happened there. Oh well, wasn't a big deal. We got loads of old ones. Plus, as long as it is cleaned up properly, the gallium in it shouldn't be a problem. Gallium? Not mercury? All 5 of us look at each other and we started to die of laughter, bro. Literally out loud, with everybody looking at us crazy. We didn't care. It was just too funny how we thought we potentially risked Duke's life by letting him clean up the mess, and how we were so panicked for no reason. It generally was the funniest experience I remember from that class. Water break. Oh hey, you're still here? Thanks for your juicy watch time. There's only a couple stories left, so buckle up for the final stretch. Also, I really just couldn't think of a transition to the next story, so this is the best intermission you're gonna get. Now back to the regular programming. Out of all the stories I got in that class, I think there was one thing that we did that I think perfectly encapsulates our lack of care for the class. So, Mr. Wright loves his daily short quizzes, but he made them bearable because he'd basically leak the questions or flat out tell you what to study for. He also loved his textbook chapters. We would finish teaching for the day, and then he'd tell you to read chapters 1.5 to 1.10 for homework. He would then put on the projector exactly what points to look at so that you were fully prepared for the next class. For example, he would highlight gene therapy, so if you were too lazy or didn't have enough time, you could just skim through the chapters until you found the section on gene therapy and just read that. Super blessed. Except for when he decides that he's gonna go rogue and ask a question off script, something that he didn't highlight. And by the way, Mr. Wright voluntells. When he asks a question, he makes sure everybody is involved. Me and Barnes know how unreliable Slim and Deepro are, so at the beginning of the year, when Mr. Wright would call on our group to answer, usually one of us would be able to answer. Slowly but surely, though, I started relying on Barnes more and more to carry the group, and then Barnes started relying on me to carry the group, until one fateful day, both of us decided not to do the chapter reading. Yeah, Barnes, what happens to the gene pool as a result of the bottleneck effect? Barnes looks at me, but I give him a head shake, bro. I don't know what the hell the answer is. He's panicking. He gives off a hella nervous chuckle. It's been like 10 seconds now. Everybody's in the class is looking at him. Mr. Wright, I'm gonna have to pass this one off to Taz. What? Mr. Wright just accepts that for some reason. Good one. I think you got this one though, Barnes. I believe in you. Oh, but I insist. I'm gonna have to pass this one off to you. Actually, Barnes, I think I'm gonna have to pass this one off to Slim. He got this. What the hell? Nah, Deepro got this. Nah, brother. It's all Taz. Nah. Barnes got it, yo. He got us. Nah, Taz got us. Nah, Barnes. Shut up, man! I honestly think we would have been there all day if Mr. Wright didn't stop us. And I mean, can you imagine being a teacher, spending 4 years getting a bachelor's degree, then another 2 years getting your teacher's degree, and you have a decade of being a respected teacher among your peers under your belt, only for you to end up in a class with us four baboons passing one off to each other when you ask one of the simplest questions. I'm surprised he even let it go on for so long. He probably was just so stunned at what he was witnessing right in front of his eyes. Okay, so we're approaching the end of the year, and we're doing human systems. This was like the third class in the unit, and we're doing those diagram assignments. You get the chart paper, draw some diagrams, write some sentences, and then present. An education classic. Our job was to illustrate/explain the systems involved from when you consume some grub to when you shit it out. Me being the artiste in the group, I was auto-assigned drawing and writing down everything. Now sure, it might be easier for me to draw, more comfortable, but literally anybody could do it. It's not like the teachers care about how it looks, as long as the diagram has all the right contents. But no, since I like to draw, I gotta be the one to draw. And it gets mind-numbing in times, you know what I mean? I'll be forced into the role till the day I perish. That day, I guess I was particularly zoned out because when we were reaching the end point, that digestive tract, I decided to bun all anatomy and accuracy, and I decided to draw a 3-inch tube coming out of the butt crack. I have drawn the external anus. And when the rest of the group saw, we started dying, bro. We were all too immature, and we shouldn't have been laughing at it for as long as we did. Barnes and Slim decided though that it wasn't enough just to have a 3-inch external anus, and they drew a toilet bowl underneath with poo stains and poo droplets coming out of you know where. And when it was our time to present, bro, we stood up there so proud of our freaking masterpiece. We tried our hardest to keep our composure, but we just couldn't, bro. The class couldn't stop laughing either. The only one not impressed was our boy, Mr. Wright. Honestly, respect though for letting us finish our presentation. He was completely disgusted as soon as he saw our chart paper, but he thought, you know what, I should let them finish what they started. And it's safe to say he probably scrapped this activity from future generations. So it's the end of the year, which means it's exam prep time. Mr. Wright gave us an exam prep sheet, and everyone was so surprised to see so many human system questions because we literally only did 2 weeks of that unit, where usually a unit would last a month and a half. So your boy and the rest of the group studied extra for that unit. Exam day pulls up, and we were all panic sitting outside the exam room, as you do, asking each other questions and stuff. And you know what? Me and Barnes seemed pretty set. Slim was pretty good too. And even Deep Bro, I know, he didn't seem too stressed. That was until Duke came up to us and asked if any of us knew how to draw the heart diagram. Heart diagram? We spent like 10 minutes on it in class. No, I don't know how to draw a heart diagram. Barn pulls out his textbook so fast and he tries his best to absorb as much information as he could. But there are just so many parts in that big that there was no way that he could memorize all of it. I'm telling him there's no way that there'll be a heart diagram. We literally spent 10 minutes in class on it. Mr. Wright wouldn't do that to us. Yeah, you're right, no shot. We all chuckle as we've gotten newly found relief that there's like a 3% chance that the heart diagram is on the exam. Whew. We enter the exam room, get handed our exams, and we're off. I like to read all the questions first before I start the exam. I think it just really helps set the scene and, it prepares you for what you're about to do. First page, not bad. Not bad at all. Certainly doable. So I flip to the second page and boom! Please draw a diagram of the heart. Barnes and Slim must have done the exact same thing as me because we all looked at each other and locked eyes at the exact same moment. We're fucked. I couldn't help just but laugh. Like, what were the odds? We were literally outside talking about, there's no way. And as like 10 minutes later, we're sitting here stunned at what we're looking at. I've already accepted defeat and now I know I won't ace this exam. So when I finished the other questions, instead of leaving the heart diagram question empty, I drew what the question asked. I drew a heart. When it came time to receive our exam marks, I decided not to show up. It wasn't that I was scared of doing poorly. Stop the cap! Okay, maybe just a little. But mainly, I just couldn't care anymore. 4 days had passed since I finished my last exam, and I was kinda already clocked out for the school year. Plus, I had a party to attend that night. Bro, it was time to get turned! For biology, I ended up with the exact same mark I had heading into exam and culminating season. I knew I did super well on the culminating assignment, which must have meant that I've done pretty shit on the exam. Which makes sense, honestly. It's kinda crazy how much my mindset had changed from my sophomore year of high school. I went in thinking that I was done with the free trial of high school, and now I had to focus up. But I ended up just enjoying myself way too much to put a damper on a year that really doesn't matter at all. No university is ever gonna check my grade 10 courses and say, yo, this guy, get him out of here, bro. He got a 72% on biology in grade 10. I also experienced a ton of new things that year. Going to parties, another volleyball season, and most importantly, I had it cemented where I belonged at my school and who I belong with. Now looking back, whenever I talk with Deep Bro, Barnes, and Slim, we would always die laughing reminiscing about all the shenanigans we pulled in our sophomore year bio class. The good old days. High school does get stressful. Hell, it was stressful right from the get-go. But my nugget of advice is that high school is what you make of it. There's just so much to learn about yourself in those 4 years, and to stress only about school seems like an inefficient way of living, don't you think? I could have decided to stop playing into the jokes we had in biology, focused in class, and ended up with the high grade at the end of the year. But then I wouldn't have half the fun I did in that class. Looking back on these memories, they aren't even that crazy. I didn't go to Bali that year, or I didn't win $1 million, but here I am writing a 9-page essay about my sophomore year bio class. There's this question I think about to assess my current life situation. Would you take $1 million, but you forget all your memories that you made that year? If the answer is yes, I know I haven't been living right, and I need to change it up. Because I would much rather have this 9-page document of experiences than a 99% to look back on.